From the curves of Lime Rock to the hills of Road America, the Porsche Owners Club visits virtual Elkhart Lake, Wisconsin for round number 6 of their virtual club racing season. An intense battle at Lime Rock ended the GT4 reign of Jacob Abrams, while the GT3 class continues to get tighter in their own points battle. Glad to have you along for the ride tonight, live on the Global Sim Racing Channel. I'm Devin Henry alongside Peter Mackay. Behind the scenes is our director Joe Peak, using cameras provided by the great Dougie Beard. Now let's take a closer look at Road America with our GSRC lap guide.
Welcome to Road America. Nicknamed America's National Park of Speed, it's easy to see why just by looking at how the track is laid out. Long straights are a major feature, and drivers will build up incredible momentum before they find themselves interrupted by tight 90-degree corners. In fact, for a 4-mile circuit, it has shockingly few turns. It also has little in the way of variation in layouts. The main course is only broken up once with a single chicane added in the bend version. But don't take this to mean that it's a boring track. Elevation change happens many times over a lap, with a few places taking you into corners which are quite blind. But two of the turns on the back half of the course are perhaps the most distinctive. One is the carousel with its more than 180-degree radius. It just feels like it never stops. The other is the kink. Terrifyingly fast with very little runoff, it can end someone's race in a flash. As you'd expect, the heavy braking zones make for some ideal overtaking spots. Turn 5 sees plenty with its downhill entry. The hurried downs can offer drivers a chance at a sneak attack if you're brave, and then Canada Corner gives you one last shot before the lap is over. It's no wonder major organizations such as IMSA, IndyCar, NASCAR, and the SCCA all host major races here. All in all, many drivers rate this track as the best track in North America. Many who hop in the seat and try it can quickly understand why.
This track can absolutely be a handful, and you just got a good look at it there. But Peter, let's take a little bit more look at this track with a little bit of track info. What more can you tell us?
Well, it's a pleasure to be here for another Porsche Owners Club event here. We had a real cracker at Lime Rock Park last time out, but Road America, a real classic North American sports car racing and, of course, IndyCar racing circuit. Of course, IndyCar taking to the track here a couple of weeks ago, and IMSA actually due to attend Road America this weekend, so looking forward to that. This is the only circuit in America that still retains its proper old layout from all the way back in 1955, so it is unapologetically old school, really fast, and we're going to see lots of drafting, particularly between our 911 GT3 Cup runners. So looking forward to that as we see our drivers out on track right now, setting the best qualifying times they possibly can.
And as we get ready for our 30-minute feature going across this 4-mile track, we do want to give a thank to our sponsors making this broadcast possible. Sunset Mortgage, don't put your money in the bank, be the bank. Check them out today at sunsetcash.net. Octavio Tequila, celebrate now. For great tasting tequila, go to octaviotequila.com and purchase today. And Century Financial Consultants, making the rest of your life the best of your life. You can check out their website at centuryretire.com. And also, might you just be interested in advertising with GSRC? Well, our channel's 1 million monthly global impressions are a great way to get your branding seen by a diverse audience here in the sim world. Be sure to follow the link in the description below on YouTube or visit globalsimracingchannel.com/advertising. to learn more. Looking back at this old school gorgeous track that we have, of course, there is a points battle around halfway through this season here as we take a look at your points starting off here in the GT3 standings led by Gregory LeFou. But man, Peter, after last week, the points are closing up. Nielsen Lawrence, who is so far winless this year, just 6 points behind, and last week's winner, Teddy Framheim, is right there in the hunt as well.
Yeah, Teddy Framheim finally got the monkey off his back after so many good qualifying performances, executing well and winning at Lime Rock 2 weeks ago. In GT4, well, it's a little bit more stretched out. Jacob Abrams commanding a 38-point lead from Paul Newton, with BJ Fulton a full 50 points back. Michael Ost 55 points back, and Alan Stad 56 back. So Jacob Abrams very much in control in GT4 right now.
It has been all Jacob Abrams until 2 weeks ago at Lime Rock, a crazy race. Of course, you can always go back and check out all of the racing at GSRC, Global SimRacing Channel.com. But how about a little bit more, Peter, on this series here? Let's take a look at your race details.
So today we have two classes out on track. So we have the diminutive, cute little Porsche 718 GT4 Cayman and the much more grown-up, little bit more aggressive 911 GT3 Cup car out there racing in their own races out on track together. At the moment they're in the middle of their 30-minute open qualifying where the track is open to come in and out of pit lane as much or as little as you wish to get that perfect lap time, and we'll see draft having an effect even in qualifying, and then on to a 30-minute race, and critically an open setup, so the drivers who have put the most time fine-tuning their setups in their car are really going to gain an advantage on their competition.
And of course, as we watch all the action tonight, you can watch along as well, looking at live timing and scoring. That is on gsrc.tv. You can check in there and keep an eye on all of your favorite drivers here in the Porsche Owners Club. Well, Peter, I think my favorite part of this track is, as you mentioned, it's just an old school racetrack. And the way that this was built back in the 50s, I mean, it was literally just built on hills. And so what about these hills? What about being in a decline going into a corner? How crucial are hitting those marks into the corner, especially in a downhill, going to be when it comes to not letting that rear end slip out from under you?
Well, that is the thing that's so tricky around any circuit in the 911 GT3 Cup machine with its rear engine layout. But at Road America is particularly difficult. There's one part of the circuit called the Moraine Sweep, which is just after turn 3, heading down towards turn 4 and 5. And that's actually named after the glacial Kettle Moraine area, which the circuit was basically carved out of. And the circuit, like all great circuits, follows just the natural topography of the land. So like you say, you have quite steep inclines. Obviously coming out the last corner, a big climb up there. You need lots of horsepower and use that Porsche traction to get out the corner there. But then big downhill braking areas. Turn 5, that's a real passing opportunity, but it's also an opportunity for calamity as well. So lots of hot spots here for action, and well, I just cannot wait to get going. Road America is, I love it. It's just, it couldn't be anywhere else in the world than North America. It's just got that style to it, which I absolutely love.
It definitely has a homey feel, if you will, maybe to it, but nonetheless, you are taking a look at qualifying right now. The GT3 leaderboard on the left hand of your screen, and right now, Teddy Framheim, a half-second advantage, if you will, over Gregory LeFougue. That is single lap times that you see there. But right now, Framheim, that's a pretty impressive lap, being half a second in front of the guy behind you. Only about 5:30 to go here in qualifying, Peter.
Yeah, that is an absolutely electric lap time. To be under 2 minutes 9 here in this car around Road America. I've done quite a lot of races in the 911 GT3 Cup car at Road America, and I can tell you, I couldn't get anywhere near that lap time. That is really impressive. And Teddy Framheim really has been the qualifying king so far this season, but we have seen him make mistakes in the races, but last time out, he managed to kind of get that monkey off his back, and I think that will definitely give him a big boost of confidence for Teddy coming into this race.
And I mean, to have the name the qualifying king, that's one thing. To actually have an average starting position of first, that's a completely different thing. I mean, having an average start of first, having an average finish of third with 2 wins to your credit, I mean, he's just been doing an extremely good job here, especially a guy like Gregory LeFougue, someone who early on in the season, obviously we placed him as a championship favorite and still leads the points exactly right now at the halfway point this season.
Yeah, Gregory LeFougue not able to turn up this last time out. Of course, as real world racing started to come back, of course, Gregory, he runs in the Michelin Pilot Challenge in the IMSA paddock, and he runs another brand of car. It's not a Porsche, so I don't think we'll mention it on the broadcast because, well, it's not a Porsche.
Yes, it's all Porsche here. That's all that we're looking at here is Sean Horvath, currently 6th on the board in the GT3 class. And looking at the GT4 class, it's no real surprise Jacob Abrams right now ahead up on your leaderboards, ahead of Paul Newton and Alan Stad so far in qualifying. But of course, you look at last week, a track like Lime Rock, right around a mile long, lap traffic comes so quickly. How long, Peter, do you think it's going to take for these cars in the GT3 class to catch up to lap traffic, and that becomes a factor in this race?
Well, right now, you've kind of got to look at the fastest GT3 against the slowest GT4. So Teddy Framheim right now, he's on a 208.9, and the slowest of the GT4 runners sort of around a 2-minute 20. So quick mathematics, which is not my strong suit at all, is about 12 seconds per lap. So yeah, about 8 laps. Yeah, it's going to be about 8 laps in, so about half race distance. The GT3 runners are going to be right up behind the GT4 pack, so that's bound to have an effect in today's race.
Basically, half the race in clean air, at least if you're up front, and then half the race just bobbing and weaving through traffic. And of course, incidents may vary throughout, and that can also cause quite a change as well here. 2:30 to go left in our open qualifying session here in the Porsche Owners Club. Of course, we talked about the lap traffic. We've talked about keeping your tires under you. This isn't really a series where you can go in and take a pit stop because it's just a 30-minute sprint. And Peter, how does a 30-minute sprint compare to, say, maybe an hour feels a little bit more normal in cars like this at Road America? When it comes down to only having a 30-minute race, let's say you're starting fifth like Matt Hollander is at right now, what is your intensity level at the second the green flag flies?
Well, you're absolutely right. In this type of car, it's normally a little bit more at home in an endurance format, or certainly we're more used to seeing them in that kind of format. But and in those sorts of formats, you see lots of tactics like fuel saving and also making the tire last over a stint and making the best of the tire throughout the entire stint. Sometimes in endurance, you even have to get the tire to last much longer than it really should to save time in the pits. But here, that's all out of the window. Also, the guys that have put in the time during the week to get the fuel number absolutely spot on is really critical, because with 30 minutes, you want to basically run out of fuel as you go over the line, because fuel is weight and weight is slow. The only caveat to that, though, is, I understand, is with the 911 GT3, because it's really unusual rear engine layout means that the fuel tank is in the front of the car, and therefore the balance, if you've got more fuel on board on the front, that sort of brings the weight distribution back more to that ideal 50-50. So the 911 GT3 Cup car is completely unique in that aspect. So maybe with those runners, the drivers might actually prefer to kind of overfill the car on purpose to make sure that they're not completely out of balance by the end of the race.
And of course, all that comes into play. You need to have all that going in your mind that you just mentioned, while you're also trying to go at full speed, pushing the car while not spinning out, making 14 turns, drafting, and going as fast as you can. Simple, right, Peter?
Yes, it certainly is for us commentators anyway. That's why I like this position here. I always say those who can't commentate. And thankfully the guys on track, they definitely can. I mean, you look at Framheim, a 208.954, and Gregory Lafougue, a 209.4. That's really, really fast. So guys in the GT4 class aren't hanging around either, with Abrams Newton and Michael Ryan Johnson making a return to the series as well. So yeah, all going to happen here at Road America in just a short couple of minutes.
Qualifying is over. A couple drivers trying to complete their laps. And yeah, Michael Johnson moving up to the 5th position to what seemed like the displeasure of Matt Hollander going down the front straightaway. Of course, one of the best parts about iRacing is that there's no pay for repair out of your nice thin little wallet like most of us. So a little bit of beating and banging does happen here, but this is an actual Porsche Owners Club group out of California. These guys drive, whether it be wheel to wheel or time trials. A lot of these guys all know each other from California. They've raced together, a very classy group here, and a lot of guys who are pretty tight, which just really makes this an even more fun league to watch, because these guys do own Porsches and these guys do race their Porsches, and now they get to come together here in the virtual world and have at it.
Yeah, it's a really interesting element to see the different experience levels of some of our drivers. And actually Ron Palmer in the number 29 is actually a former professional motorcycle racer. He actually raced for American Honda in the late 70s, and just around that same time, that was around the same time that the great Freddie Spencer came on board to race for American Honda, and he went on to win a world championship or two. So the varying of experience is really interesting. Also, Michael Ryan Johnson, who's one of the driver coaches at the Porsche Experience Centre in LA, we also mentioned that Michael Ryan Johnson does have a special mascot on the rear bumper of his car. He has Scout the Adventure Pup, who rides on the back of the car with him. So we'll hopefully see Scout out on the track once we get going.
And I'm sure that he hopes that about 23 other drivers will be seeing that bumper sticker as well on the rear end of the car, as opposed to maybe passing a little bit later. Of course, that's always everyone's goal, but as we continue on, it looks like most of our field did stay stagnant. It looks like all of the drivers have pulled on in. So as the final seconds tick off, let's go ahead and take a look at your starting lineup here for the Porsche Owners Club at Road America. Your front row, Teddy Framheim, a 2:08.955 to take the pole. Gregory LaFougue will be starting in second. Brian Salehi will run off in third in the 15 car. Michael Bolton in fourth. Michael Johnson will round out your top five, and outside of row 3 will be Matt Hollander. Sean Horvath will be in seventh place, Outside of row number 4 will be Connor Bloom. Jim Salvik will start things off at 9th, and your very first driver here in the lower tier, if you will, but I know that's not the proper term because these GT4s can be fast, and Jacob Abrams has showed it all year. He's qualified in the 10th position.
And joining him on the front row of the GT4 field will be Paul Newton, alongside Michael Ryan Johnson and Scout the Adventure Pup. 13th is Alan Stad alongside BJ Fulton on row 7. Row 8 is Sevak Vigarian alongside Doug Bocchioni. Row 9 is Jad Duncan alongside Ron Palmer. And row 10 is Patrick Flanagan and John Monemeyer.
Taking a look at the rest of your starting grid here tonight at Road America. David Creator in 21st, Mark Rondeau in 22nd, and 2 drivers without time, Jim Gaharaman and Jake D, rounds out your field for the Porsche Owners Club at Road America. We line them all up here on the front straightaway. I do believe that we take the entire 4-mile course here for our warm-up lap, and so these guys are going to take one last really good look here at this track. And Peter, I'm going to put you on the spot. We got 14 corners here. Which corner do you think is going to make the biggest difference? Which one do these drivers need to make sure that they hit perfectly every single time? Otherwise, they're not getting that win tonight.
Well, a couple of months ago, I was commentating on a race here, and for my preparation, I watched a track guide from long-standing North American Porsche factory driver Patrick Long, and he gave some really good insight into how to get around this track quickly, particularly at the wheel of a Porsche, of course. And I think the main one is the last corner, turn 14, because that exit out of that corner is critical, because not only is it a very, very long drag to turn 1, but it's uphill for a lot of it. And that means that exit, if you don't get that right, you're just paying for it all the way along the straight. And with these 911 GT3 Cup cars, having that weight of the engine all over the rear axle gives them a big advantage in traction as well over their competitors. But that is a way that you can, you've got to try and use that attribute to your advantage. And of course, with a lot of these guys racing similar types of car in the real world, hopefully they'll have developed that skill.
And we do want to take a look at your weather conditions real quick here. The track state actually has quite a bit of rubber on it, but right now, boy, it is hot, hot, hot. Partly cloudy, 72 degrees air temp, but check out that track temperature. 96 degrees, Peter. That is going to play a little bit of havoc tonight.
Oh, it certainly will. I mean, that high track temperature, that basically just makes the surface really, really slick. So normally when you hear about people heating up the tires, you think, oh, hot is good, surely. But when it goes too hot, that's when it gets really tricky. And the track surface just kind of gets really oily and greasy, and just takes the grip level away. It also, double whammy, it degrades the tire even more so as well. So as we see some of our drivers on the pace lap having a good old wiggle just to get the little bit of temperature in the tyre, because of course when they come onto the grid they will be completely stone cold. The other thing to consider as well with this, with the 911 particularly, is it does not have ABS, anti-lock braking, or traction control. So sometimes with the engine in the rear as well, when you're braking, particularly downhill, the car kind of wants to swap over and slap you over the back of the head. So it's a little bit, getting the braking right is one thing that's absolutely critical. And when the brakes are cold, that makes that job even harder.
And we do have some breaking news from the paddock. It looks like Gregory LeFou did not make the grid. He was starting in second position, so he will forfeit that position. We do not see him yet entering the session, so extremely unfortunate there for the driver of the number 19, because obviously every week he is one driver to look out for, because he will be in that hunt for the win.
That's huge for the championship. Gregory LeFou, very much a championship contender, and that is really a shame. And well, I'm sure Teddy Framheim won't mind. He'll probably be looking over his shoulder, breathing a bit of a sigh of relief, and that might allow Teddy to get out front. And we know he likes to lead out front, and well, show the pace that we know that he has. And of course that promotes Matt Hollander a little bit. Of course, promotes him a little bit, one bit further as well. So yeah, it's going to be interesting. I wonder what's happened to Gregory LeFou.
Yeah, unfortunate circumstances there. He still is not connected, so it doesn't look like he'll even be able to take the green from pit road. We will see if he will be able to join the field. Obviously, a very long course, so there is the possibility of finding a way to get back on the track, make up some positions, and grab some points, because right now we are exactly at the halfway mark on the season. So obviously it's good to be high in the points when you're in the first half, but right now is the time when you need to be locking it down and getting into that final stretch to win this points championship.
Yep, it certainly is indeed. And I say it's great to see the Lightning McQueen car, Michael Bolton, in the number 127 machine, warming up his tyres as well. And I have to say, it looks fantastic on that 911 GT3 Cup car there. So a good qualifying performance for Michael Bolton. He's qualifying in fourth, but he will effectively start an effective third, due to the demise of Gregory LeFou. There it is on screen. Look at a big smile there from Lightning McQueen. Brilliant looking car, that, I have to say.
Yeah, he's got the pearly whites out and everything. I absolutely love it. I love the movie cars. Even ran a Chick Hicks number 86 at the Fireball 500 at Watkins Glen earlier this year. So he has the world of cars all over his car, although that was not a Porsche, that was a 1987 machine, but nonetheless, he has the Pixar spirit. So as we come off of turn 14, the Porsche Owners Club ready for round number 6 of 2020 Season 2. Coming to the line, we are green at Road America.
And our GT4 runners, they're up on the gas as well as our GT3 guys. They all head down towards turn 1, giving plenty room so far. Teddy Framheim's got that vital inside line. That's absolutely critical going down into turn 1. But he's side by side with Brian Salehi. Can he get hard on the brakes? Oh, that's tight. That's so tight. They're going through turn 1, but they've got through safely.
Nearly made contact, and now Salehi trying to hold off Michael Johnson for that second position. As Teddy Framheim heads to the point, that is the last thing anyone wants to see, is either Framheim or Jacob Abrams finding the lead, and both of them have gotten it solidly here to open up racing at Road America.
So let's take a look at the GT4 leaders. So Jacob Abrams, well, leading from the front there, from the Peels orange car of Paul Newton. And well, I have to say, that's... as Michael Ryan Johnson goes up the inside at turn 5. So Michael Ryan Johnson, he is right in there behind Jacob Abrams. So good start from him. Also, back in GT3, an amazing start from Connor Bloom. And I can confirm Gregory LeFou has got going in his car number 19. He has been able to start from pit lane. So that's great that we'll see him in the race. Let's see how far he can climb up the order.
LeFou already halfway through the GT4 class, and back up ahead into the GT3s. Brian Salehi overshot, I believe it was turn 4, and now Teddy Framheim is absolutely gone. Over a 2.5-second advantage as he's not even done with the first 4 miles of this race. Look at that gap behind him as one car goes wildly into the wall.
Not sure who that was. Bolton. Oh no, it's Lightning McQueen. And oh, Lefouque's been taken out. Sorry guys, I'm off camera. Lefouque has been taken out. He's been caught up in the GT4 field. And oh, what a... God, you couldn't think... Oh, he's been sent to space. Oh my word.
Wow.
Oh dear.
Into orbit. Apparently he should have stayed in the pits a little bit longer. The kettle bottoms taking multiple victims as you watch along Lefouque in the red and yellow machine right there. A little bit door-to-door contact, trying to move through those GT4s and just gets caught up in something in front of him. And I think it only gets worse here, Peter. Yeah,
he just kind of boxes himself in there and then heads on into the middle of the track and gets punted to, well, the Kingdom Come. A night to forget for Gregory Lefouque. What a pity for the pro racing driver. But anyway, back at the front, Teddy Framheim, well, he's gone. He's absolutely checked out. Look at that advantage there on Brian Saleki. He is checked out, but Connor Bloom is on a charge. Connor Bloom making his way through the field, and Connor Bloom looking to move up to 3rd position, coming down into turn 5. There he is in the pink pig. Very famous Porsche livery. He gets it done there. Great move, and Connor Bloom, he's on a charge.
And now Johnson under attack from Matt Hollander. Hollander on the right side in that black and green machine, not able to make the pass, trying to cross him back over. Johnson starting to move down a few spots, still has that valuable inside as they almost make contact, and Hollander almost got into the sand pit and might lose a spot here.
Yeah, whoa! Hollander getting a big help into the wall there. Oh, that was the Jägermeister car, the 661 of Sean Horvath. Well, 477 Matt Hollander, he's our series organizer. He is the Bernie Eccleston of Porsche Owners Club Sim Racing, and well, dumped the boss into the wall. That's not wise.
And I believe that car has some front suspension damage. It was definitely off kilter as another machine spins out right in front of your GT4 leaders. Right now, Michael Ryan Johnson trying to catch up to JJ Abrams, but this GT4 class has not let that white and red machine get out of their sights quite yet.
Well, we're never short of action as we say, oh no, we've got a crasher in GT3 as well. But Jacob Abrams, he's clearing away here from Michael Ryan Johnson. It looks like GT4 is going to be our battle as Paul Newton, he's right on the bumper. Be careful not to bump into Scout the Adventure Pup on the back of Michael Ryan Johnson's GT4.
And I do want to apologize. I must have said J.J. Abrams. I made it 4 or 5 rounds without saying that. I do mean Jacob Abrams when I say J.J. Abrams, if that ever does happen, just to make sure, guys. My apologies. Nonetheless, though, Jacob Abrams still leading ahead here in the GT4 class, coming to complete another lap, and is starting to make a little bit of a gap here on Johnson in the 3 car. Newton in the blue car is behind him as they head back into turn number 1.
Yeah, really close here, all the way down the field there. You see BJ Fulton in that blue and orange car, very much echoing the Gulfa Porsche livery, which, well, we saw in so many of Porsche's great competition cars. And I have to say, like many circuits, Porsche, they have some special stuff here at Road America. They actually won in 2007, won in the American Le Mans Series outright with their LMP2 car, the beloved RS Spider, beating the mighty Audi diesels of the time. So Porsche, they know how to go giant killing in motorsport, particularly here at Road America.
Fulton in the blue and orange car trying to make his way up into the top 5. The 33-year-old astrophysicist, but loves his autocross racing as well. Just started sim racing in May and has been pretty impressive so far in the Porsche Owners Club. And right in front of him, you do see Fajarian trying to move his way into the 4th position, trying to put a little bit of pressure here on Stad.
Yep, Alan Stad, he's getting up there in the mix in the GT4 class. But yeah, back at Teddy Framheim, what can you say about him? He's converting so far from his pole position out front in the GT3 class, but very, very close between Stad and Figarian here in GT4. Now, interestingly, the Cayman GT4, it doesn't draft as much as the GT3 cars do. Not quite sure why that is, but it just doesn't seem to have the same draft effect.
Here comes a battle for a pass here. Good move. Stad defending the inside, but Figarian trying to cross him back over, getting to the right side. Figarian in the black and white, Stad in the black and orange, and he's able to hold him up a couple corners more as Figarian will now look to the inside. Sticks the nose in, can't complete the pass though and get to the inside as Stad will look to pull away once again. Now Fulton toes in right to the rear bumper of Savak Figarian.
BJ Fulton, he's getting tucked in there, trying to get any little bit of draft that is there. So here he goes then. He's got a good exit out of turn 14. We said how important that would be. He's, as we see, Figarian goes to the inside there, defending well. He's allowed to do that. He can be pretty, getting his car nice and parked there on the apex. Well done from him. And of course, Alan Stad, well, did you know he actually drives this exact car in real life? He has a Cayman GT4 MR Club Sport, the sprinting car. So I'd love to know what he thinks of the difference between the real world car and the car in the sim.
And he's just so well versed. He dragged race for 20 years as well. Of course, autocross events, but only started club racing 2 years ago. And he's an avid sim racer. He's been sim racing about as long as he was drag racing, about 2 decades for him. So he knows a thing or two about hopping onto the sim, and of course here on iRacing as well. Your top 5 though still stay the same here in the GT4 class. A quick update on your GT3s. Teddy Framheim is far away. Back here in the GT3s though, a little bit of an issue there as you saw Fulton kind of go off the track as they continue to battle for that top 5 spot.
Yeah, Connor Bloom, he's made a really good job to get up into the podium places, and if he can get past Salehi, he can maybe try and chase down Teddy Framheim, but his pace is so fast. And Teddy Framheim, he's not a pro racing driver, he's actually an engineer in Silicon Valley. As we see, whoa, that's a little bit of an off track there.
Some dirt racing there on a Porsche. How do you like that?
Yeah, well, they have been developing quietly a rally version of or RGT rally version of the Cayman GT4 with Romain Dumas doing the honours, testing that vehicle in the south of France.
Now looking at position number 5 here in the GT3 class. Sean Horvath trying to hold off Jim Slavic for that 5th position. Horvath in the orange, Slivak in the black and gray as we continue to move on through the field as the leaders continue to check out but still battles for position across the track.
Yeah, I noticed this 661 of Sean Horvath. He's running the Jägermeister livery, and I have to be honest, I think you should be docked points for running an alcohol sponsor that's not Octavio Tequila, because
I
that's
agree.
just not.
I agree.
We saw the Martini livery being run last week, which is a very much an iconic Porsche livery. But again, I think we need to get an Octavio Tequila livery to give to some of these drivers.
I can't agree more as they come through turn 6 here. And we have seen a couple of alcohol-related races that the series has done, and I'm just assuming that the entire thing is sponsored by Octavio Tequila for very obvious reasons. But as we go through hurry downs here, those drivers still going at it, but side-by-side action here as John Momeyer trying to find a way around Patrick Flanagan for the 8th position here in GT4.
Good move there into turn 1. Really smooth, really clean, and good discipline from both drivers. Good move there from Momeyer, but it's not done yet. He's got to try and make a breakaway here.
As you can see, trying to do that draft, I mentioned earlier, the drafting differences in a couple of these cars as they continue to go around here. Curves and hills, so many different things here when it comes to Road America. Momeyer gains a lot of traction there, a lot of momentum going into the corner and moves up just a little bit closer to that rear bumper.
Yeah, stalking Flanagan there, coming through turn 6. Tricky corner that, then down to turn 7 through hurry downs it's called. So you're well, when you're in the race, you're always hurrying down to turn 8 there. Very much a deep braking zone there. You want to avoid the exit curb, get that traction, get the power down as well. Just coming back to 661 at Horvath. He's chasing down 58 of Slavic, I think that is. Yes, he's dropped back behind him.
Continuing to be almost bumper to bumper, but now the two switch positions. This is for the 5th position in the GT3 class, and so trying to grab that top 5. And these are the last of the GT3s before you go to Jacob Abrams, about 20 seconds behind them, as Michael Bolton and Matt Hollander have fallen deep into the bunch of GT4s.
Yeah, it's really getting busy now. Matt Hollander following in behind the Rusty's bumper ointment car of Michael Bolton with the big smiley Lightning McQueen face as they come round. Oh, this is critical point. Oh, Bolton's been just mired there slightly. Hollander might get the run here because he's just got that better exit, and this is a perfect example of how important that exit out of turn 14 is. Drag race down the front straight as they head down towards turn 1. Who's going to be latest on the brakes? Is it going to be Bolton? Is it going to be Hollander? Green camouflage versus Lightning McQueen. Oh, I think it's just about going to be Bolton. Well defended there.
Two of my favorite drivers in this series. A couple of Arizonans. Big slides as they get back side to side. Chandler and Scottsdale going at it. Northeast and Southeast Arizona taking blows back and forth, but Matt Hollander currently prevailing, leading in that camo machine over the Rusty's car. Now we'll take a look up to P2's Connor Bloom is in a haste of traffic going to the right side of them. As Pine Salehi follows along right on that rear bumper, looking to go into turn number 1. Trying to get back at Bloom, who just took over that second position. Salehi, a good position here going into 1.
Oh, Connor Bloom. Interesting there. Connor Bloom got a better exit out of 14, got the move done, but this front straight is so long that Salehi nearly drafted back on him again, and actually Connor Bloom had to go really deep on the brakes to try and keep the position, but he has done now. But it's going to be very much a big ask to try and chase down Teddy Framheim from here, but great drive from Connor Bloom. Qualified 8th, he's now up to 2nd. Brilliant stuff, but Salehi, he's not letting it done. Salehi stuffs it up the inside, coming down into turn 5, and Bloom runs wide.
Good pass, both drivers giving themselves a lot of room to continue to go at it here. Battling for that second position, Salehi, a POC club racer in the GT3 class in real life, along with here on iRacing as well, now has that second position. Goodness gracious, Peter, they are at a 10-second disadvantage to Teddy Framheim right now, who's just ran away with this race, coming down to the halfway mark.
Yeah, Teddy Framheim. I have to say, there's a couple of things that I'm jealous of Teddy. One of those is obviously his skill behind the wheel, but second of all, he drives probably my ideal Porsche, a 2015 Porsche Cayman GTS. I came ever so close to ordering one of those, and I've regretted it every day since.
34-year-old engineer at Apple. He spent about a decade sim racing so far, and now is looking to rack up win number 3 on the season, over a 10-second advantage on the field. So continue to watch your battle for second here in the GT3 class. Pine Salehi leading Connor Bloom, another 2 drivers who have been so good this season in the points. Salehi's still trying to make up a little bit more ground, though, in the points.
Yeah, look at Connor Bloom now. Connor Bloom's right in the draft, so watch this. We saw this on the last lap, how big the draft is. You're going to see Salehi's being very disciplined. He's keeping in a straight line, not weaving, not allowing. But Connor Bloom is, we don't know if he's going to be close enough here on the brakes. He's not. So obviously Salehi, what did we talk about? The exit out of turn 14. Salehi obviously got the real exit there.
Staden Fajarian still going at it here for the 4th position in the GT4 class. Curving through, it's still Stad ahead of Fajarian. But these guys just will not let up as they continue to twist and wind going into the corner.
Yeah, Fajarian had a little bit of a loop there coming into Canada a corner, but thought better of it. I do remember that corner. I always think of Scotsman Robin Liddell going round the outside in the wet in a Camaro in the Michelin Pilot Challenge race here last year, and I can never explain to myself just how on earth he did that. I must ask him something.
I'm sure that you probably enjoyed telling you that story as they come back down the front straightaway once again. But Jerry now starting to see Stats' car disappear in front of him, getting smaller and smaller, but still has a little bit of draft, just not able to capitalize going down the front straight.
No, he's like I say, if you can just get that exit. We've seen so many. Oh, that's Michael Ryan Johnson's in the sand trap there, I think. Oh no, no. I think that's Mike. If I'm not mistaken, that's Michael Ryan Johnson in the sand trap. What happened there?
We'll watch him go into turn number 1 here. Johnson, it looks like that Fulton behind him. We got Paul Newton right behind him. Dives into one, gets into the grass, and just clips him. Might have been a little neck code involved there, but still an aggressive move going into turn 1.
Yeah, that I have to say, I think that was just one of those slightly over-ambitious moves. Of course, he was in the draft. He had the momentum, but this is a long way back to have a look there. Coming, racing drivers can be very creative with their excuses when netcode is a new one that they can use here in the sim racing world, but that does not fly. That's a shame because Michael Ryan Johnson was looking very, very strong there and ended up in the sand trap, but he's got back going again, so he can still gather some points.
Looked like they were battling for the second position. Johnson has now fallen back into the 6th spot, and he has to work his way back up with 12 minutes remaining here at Road America. We'll head back up to the top 5. Jim Slavic right now. Still battling with Sean Horvath right now, side by side going down the front straight. These two cannot separate from each other.
Yeah, Jim Slavic, well, what can you say about him in the 58 machine? We're just hassling the 661 of Sean Horvath, swapping positions back and forth as they pile down towards turn 3, this is another corner where the exit is massively important as they head down through the Moraine Sweep and the affectionately known Cheese Bridge.
Horvath getting a little bit of a gap there as Slavic hit some dirt coming off the exit of turn number 3 as they now come into turns number 5 and 6. Horvath, though, with a little bit of a gap. We'll take a look even further up ahead. Brian Salehi still currently in the 2nd position ahead of Connor Bloom. But again, two drivers who, Peter, they just don't want to move away from each other, although I think Salehi, if he had it his way, he'd be a little bit further by now.
Yeah, that's not what you want to see in your rear view mirror, is the bright pink pig of Connor Bloom. Of course, Connor, a pro racing driver in the real world, and that is not what you do not want a racing driver hunting you down in your rear view mirror, but that's what he's got running that. Oh, it's going to come out of Canada corner. Good exit from Connor Bloom. Now, will he be able to carry that? Will he be able to capitalize on that and get the critical drive out of turn 14, the final corner? So Bloom goes hard on the brakes. Salehi does have to defend slightly, but Bloom is right on his gearbox, and here he goes then. He's going to have a look up the inside then as they drag race down. They're drag racing again down the front straight with, oh my goodness me, but crucially Connor Bloom has the inside line. They go down into turn 1, hard on the brakes. Connor Bloom edges Salehi out. Salehi gets a little bit loose, and he's passed.
Oh, Salehi, he could have had a little bit of drive off there, but lost the rear end, and Bloom will take a little bit of an advantage. The pro driver, who happens to also be a stunt driver and an instructor for so many different series, and of course, as you mentioned, Peter, a pro driver in real life with a ton of podiums in real life for him dating back from 2011 and beyond, the San Diego, California native. Now again, Salehi looking to that left side. Bloom cuts him off going into the corner. They continue to go at it, slicing through traffic.
Yeah, this is where it gets really, really sticky now for Connor Bloom and Salehi. And for Salehi, he can try to use the traffic to his advantage, but Connor Bloom You know, he runs in a series in the IMSA Michelin Pilot Challenge, which is a multi-class series, and he's in the faster class of car there in the GS, so he knows exactly what it's like to try and get through that slower traffic. And also one where he would have known how he would have learned his race craft. He was also the 2011 Skip Barber MX5 Cup champion. I can't imagine how frantic that series would have been.
Yeah, it might have been just a little bit crazy. Obviously, I wasn't there, but so we'll take a look back here, looking at Alan Stad. Currently third right now in the GT4s. Again, still cannot seem to move away from Savak Fagarian right behind him in the black and white machine. Still, these guys going at it. They still have Paul Newton in sights, but quite a sizable gap ahead of them.
10 seconds, so Paul Newton certainly hampered from that incident in turn 1 as well, and that's obviously cost him. So Abrams is on a bit of a cruise here at Road America, but I'll tell you who else is on a cruise. Connor Bloom has managed that traffic incredibly well. Look at the gap as we see Matt Hollander coming through at turn 6, barging his way through the slower traffic, but Connor Bloom in the pink pig, he's got up to second place, and he has absolutely disappeared from Brian Salehi. Look at that gap already. That is amazing, but I'm sure it won't be enough to trouble Teddy Framheim with 7.5 minutes to go, but an amazing drive nonetheless.
Well, I think it's fair to note, you might have saw it in the top right corner of your screen, but Teddy Framheim, with 22 minutes into the race, ran the fastest lap of the race tonight, and he has extended his lead to over 13 seconds here, looking to add another virtual trophy onto his iRacing trophy case.
Must be getting pretty busy now. He'll need to, good job he works for a tech company. He'll be able to get some virtual space to put all those virtual trophies.
He's going to need it. This will be win number 3 as long as he can hang on here in the 2020 Season 2. Continuing to vie for that points championship as we are exactly at halfway. We will be concluded race number 6 of the season. Only 4 more to go. Virginia International Raceway, Road Atlanta, Sonoma, and then the series concludes at WeatherTech on September 21st. We will have all those races for you here live on the Global Sim Racing Channel. And it looks like Slavic with an issue. He is out in the pits.
Oh, and that will finally... Well, let's see what happens here. That's a strange one. I wonder, that will give the 661 of Sean Horvath in the Jägermeister car, will give him a very much needed respite after his battle with Jim Slavic. So I wonder what happened to him. And oh, that's what happened to him.
Looks like, I don't know, what do you think, Peter? A little too aggressive, or just the combination of the tires wearing out after 25 minutes and the heat?
Well, it could be, yes. Certainly the one thing that you don't need driving this is Teddy Framheim bangs in another fast lap. That is absolutely extraordinary pace, and he's been running that pace all day long. I've been looking at his lap times on the sim, and my goodness me, he's the first 4 laps all under 2:10, and then he's had a 2:08.9, but perhaps not counting to the fastest lap, and he has just been flawless today. A brilliant drive from Teddy Framheim. Now, interestingly, Teddy's the only guy in the field who isn't running a customized livery. He's basically running the out-of-the-packet livery that you get here. It's the factory Porsche livery. So he obviously doesn't spend his time worrying about painting and stuff. He's obviously out practicing.
Yeah, I guess that's one way to put it. Come on, just log in and trading paints. It's nice and easy, believe me. Find yourself a Chick Hicks paint scheme. So we have Lightning and Chick, or I guess grab yourself a paint scheme with Dynaco of the King, because looking for win number 3 this season. Right now, if he continues this pace, he will win by more than 18 seconds, it looks like.
Well, the one theory he might have, of course, that's the Porsche official factory color scheme, which of course only factory drivers get to drive in. And well, maybe that's what it is. He's driving like a factory driver, that's for sure.
Certainly tonight, and of course a few times this season, as we take a look at Savak Fagarian trying to close back in on Alan Stad once again. Well, I guess you lose one person, then you just gain another one, and Stad trying to hold on to that final podium spot.
Yeah, fighting hard as we see There's now Jacob Abrams actually lapping some of the GT4 field as well, as we see Matt Hollander finally onto the last GT4 car for him to worry about, and he's having to really barge his way through the field there as well. So it's still not finished yet. We've still got just under 4 minutes to go here at Road America. Plenty still to happen for now.
Plenty can still happen. The track temperature is still over 90 degrees right now, so the track is still slick. Those tires are getting worn. And when you see right there, one Porsche off the track right now, so it doesn't get any easier from here on out, even though we are in the final 3.5 minutes.
Yep, this is where keeping that concentration is so vital. And although that might sound silly, you're just sitting turning the wheel at home. Believe me, this concentration required is really, really important. Making sure you're well rested, good nutrition, 6 cups of coffee. I always find that helps, and really helping your concentration levels. So that is where it's so easy to make a mistake. And in particular, the 911 GT3 runners, that is a car that does not forgive any kind of mistake from the driver.
But Jerry still trying to put the pressure on Stad for that final podium position, and it is also 10th overall, so a top 10 overall and a podium in class would mean a lot here. Fagarian trying to close that gap, still trying to stay on that bumper. Stad certainly hasn't lost him, but certainly isn't making any mistakes either, as he does have that blue 217 of Paul Newton still in his front windshield.
Yeah, Newton's not too far away, and we'll need a mistake from the man in the Peels orange car if he's to catch him. But so far, Alan Stad holding strong for that class podium. Just an update on Jacob Abrams. That wasn't Matt Hollander coming to lap Jacob Abrams. That was for position. Jacob Abrams, he is doing a Porsche RS Spider, beating cars in a class above.
Yeah, we've seen Abrams do that earlier this year. Right now, 8th overall on the board, and we began the night with 10 or 11 GT3s. So currently in 8th overall and looking to grab win number 5 on the season. The white flag will be coming up here. And of course, what a showcase tonight from Teddy Framheim as he gets the 1 to go sign here. One more lap around Road America.
Yep, an absolute masterclass from Teddy Framheim. And we mentioned it before the broadcast. I have to say, I think getting that monkey off his back at Lime Rock last time out, he's had a lot of, obviously, he's been the pole position king, but yeah, he's not been able to convert as many times in the races. But now he's got that monkey off his back. I think this is just going to open the floodgates, and I think it's very much ominous for his competitors here in the Porsche Owners Club Sim Racing Series.
And it's scary enough when you say that someone is opening up the floodgates and they already had a win prior, now looking to become the winningest driver in class, only overall behind Jacob Abrams, who's been on an absolute tear in the GT4s. And with this win tonight, it looks like he will be able to potentially surpass both Nielsen Lawrence and Gregory LaFougue for the overall points ownership going into the final 4 races of the season as he continues to move through GT4 traffic.
As you can see, that's Alan Stad. He's now coming up against our, of course, 3rd in class right now, but he has been able to drop Sevak Fagarian. Maybe Fagarian's made a mistake, but that will make Alan Stad pretty safe there. And I'm sure, speaking of safe, Teddy Framheim gives him plenty of room coming into turn 11, the kink, a very fast, very dangerous corner. Of course, we saw poor old Catherine Legg having a monumental accident there in 2006 in Champ Car, which thankfully she walked away from. So Teddy Framheim then comes around the final section of the lap. He's heading up from Canada corner through turn 13 over to turn 14, and he will be ready to go to take the checkered flag here at Road America.
It'll be a victory of over 15 seconds here tonight at Road America. It's win number 3 on season number 2. Teddy Framheim takes the win at Road America.
And Jacob Abrams, he's got a bit of a parade lap here. He was just in front of Teddy Framheim, so finishing on the lead lap, it would seem. Well, what what a drive from Jacob Abrams indeed. And he's still got to get round this lap, but he's been out front and has not put a foot wrong so far today.
Yeah, just looking at, first of all, the fact that he is your leader going for win number 5. But when you look at the job that Framheim did tonight, how fast he was, Jacob Abrams, the last car overall on the lead lap. So he was the only car in the GT4s to be on the lead lap, and then he will finish 8th overall as well tonight.
Yeah, stunning drive from Jacob Abrams. Really impressive, and he thoroughly deserves his commanding lead in the GT4 Championship. But for Teddy Framheim, not only is it a great day getting a race win, but having Gregory Lefougue pulling off and scoring no points today, well, that is music to Teddy's ears, I'm sure.
Abrams continues to take his final lap around this Road America course. Per the usual, no damage course last week at Lime Rock was not able to claim the victory. Michael Oates, who unfortunately is not here tonight, being the first driver not named Jacob Abrams to win in season number 2 of the Porsche Owners Club in the GT4 category. But just like that, another win here tonight for Jacob Abrams will give him number 5.
Yeah, he's had what a nice thing to do, to get a nice parade lap to finish what has been a perfect drive from Jacob Abrams.
Off of turn 14, down the front straightaway one last time. Give him a high five. He's 5 out of 6 for the year. Jacob Abrams takes the win at Road America in the GT4 class. Well, as our final drivers conclude the rest of their night, we will take a quick break here on GSRC, bring you on back. We will go through your entire finishing order and catch up with some of our top finishers here tonight. Stick around. Another phenomenal night for Teddy Framheim here in the Porsche Owners Club here at Road America. Let's take a look at your final race results. Teddy Framheim, nearly a 15-second victory over Connor Bloom in second. Baihan Salehi brings it home in third. Michael W. Johnson brings it home in fourth. Sean Horvath in fifth. Matt Hollander sixth. And your final GT3 car on the lead lap is Michael Bolton. And then comes your GT4 winner, Jacob Abrams, the final car on the lead lap, followed by Paul Noon in second in class, and Alan Stad, your podium in the GT4s.
Fourth down then in the GT4, Sevak Fagarian. He was close to getting that podium spot, but no cigar today. In fifth place in GT4 is BJ Fulton with Michael Ryan Johnson, unfortunately finishing 13th overall after that controversial incident at turn 1. Doug Bocchioni follows him, along with Jad Duncan, Mark Rondeau, John Mommemeyer, with Jim Slavic further down in the GT3 car, with Patrick Flanagan and David Cater.
And your final drivers completing the race tonight, Ron Palmer in 21st, Jake D in 22nd, Gregory Lefougue will bring it home in 23rd, followed by Jim Gahariman. Rounding out your field here at Road America. Well, let's go ahead and bring in our guest of honor, taking home win number 3 on the season. Teddy Framheim brings it home here at Road America. And my first question, because it's what I'm most curious about, how in the world do you conserve your car enough to have a double-digit second gap and then continue to run fastest laps of the race so late in the race?
I'm glad you guys noticed that. So part of what I've kind of started to learn over these last few races is that conserving your rear tires in this car goes a long way. So I was pretty conservative in the opening few laps, and then I felt pretty good. I had a good gap. I knew that I was leaving plenty of margin, so I decided to let go a couple of flyers while I wasn't in the middle of traffic toward the end of the race.
And we really didn't see you in much trouble throughout the race, especially with these really hot track conditions, making the track a little bit more slick than you usually would. But when it came to that lap traffic, did you find any issues with just how hot this track was?
No, there is one of those interesting things about sim racing. Occasionally you get somebody who is lagging a bit. There was one particular car that was kind of hopping around. That was about as scared as I got, because I just kind of passed him hoping for the best, because I didn't really know where he actually was. But other than that, the traffic was pretty well behaved. And this is a big track. The GT3 is much faster in a straight line, so generally it was pretty easy to get by.
Well, another great performance tonight. Who do you have to thank for another W here on this 2020 Porsche season?
Thank you to Matt Hollander and Porsche Owners Club for putting this on, and to you guys at Global SimRacing Channel for broadcasting. It's a small thing, but it provides, I think, some people in my circle a glimpse of what I do, which is really cool. So I really appreciate it. Thank you, guys.
Well, it's been fun to broadcast and a good night for yourself. Win number 3, that's the most in class. You take over the points lead as well. And I like this stat. Average start of first, average finished of just second. Teddy, congrats on another good night.
Thank you. Thank you, guys.
Well, we go from the leader in the GT3 points to the overall wins leader on the season. Peter has caught up with Jacob Abrams.
Hey there, guys. How's it going?
Oh, we're doing very well, Jacob. I'm sure you are too. Congratulations on another dominant win out there today at Road America. What was your secret today? Tell us. We're dying to know.
Thanks, guys. Honestly, what I noticed in some of the practice races was that qualifying was kind of more important than you'd think on a track like this, because if you get caught up battling in the first couple of corners, it's going to put you on the back foot for the rest of the race. And so I knew pole position and a good start would put me in a good place to pull away.
Now, I remember us when we chatted a couple of weeks ago that you've got a bit of a project on the go. Tell us how that project is getting on. Now we know it's not a Porsche, and we're not going to say what brand it is, but tell us about your project car. How's it doing?
Not good at the moment. It actually, I wasn't able to run it at the Pro Solo last weekend because I had a fuel system failure. Needs a new tank, new sensors, and all sorts of funky stuff. So yeah, it's right now it's on a lift.
That sounds both expensive and painful. So I apologise for asking, but I hope it gets out there soon. Now, before we let you go, as our race winner here live on GSRC, is there anyone you want to give a shout out to live on the broadcast?
Yeah, of course. I want to thank Matt and everyone at the POC for putting this on, and Works 2 Motorsport.
Jacob, thank you very much for coming to join us, and hopefully we'll see you again in 2 weeks' time at VIR.
Yeah, thanks, guys. See you then.
Well, now let's go ahead and catch up with second place in the GT4s. Paul Newton comes home 9th overall, second in class. And Paul, I got to say, it was pretty hot out there, especially the track temperature, nearly 100 most of the race. How did your car feel tonight run around this slick surface?
Well, it was a little bit slower than practice. I think it was a little slippery in pretty much all of the turns, and braking was a little tough. I think I got into Michael Johnson there, and he really deserved second place, so I want to apologize to him. But I was just trying to keep the tires on it and get to the end and see if I had anything for him, but that's how that went.
Well, some good racing looking ahead. How do you see the second half of this season going?
some great tracks on there. I know the local California tracks pretty well, but I guess all these guys probably do. They've probably driven on them more than me anyway. So it's going to be fun. It's going to be fun.
And who do you got to thank for a second place performance here tonight at Road America?
I want to thank the Porsche Owners Club, and I want to thank Matt Hollander for setting all this up, and I want to thank GSRC for putting on these great telecasts, and I want to thank Peel's California Mandarins. Thank you.
Paul, congrats. A second place finish here tonight at Road America. Now send it on back over. Peter has Bayan Salehi.
Bayan Salehi, hello. Welcome to the GSRC commentary box. I tell you what, you were certainly kept busy with Connor and the Pink Pig. Tell us about that battle.
Oh yeah, that was a fun one. Probably my favorite battle of the season. Yeah, I think overall, I had the qualifying pace and just I'm able to put in, one good lap here and there at these events, but I've really improved on my racecraft the past couple of weeks, and I still have a lot to improve on. But racing with Connor was great. I have a lot of respect for his driving on and off the sim, and I think we kept it clean and it was good racing, and he got me fair and square.
So on things matters off the track, Bayan, how's the studying for the bar exam going?
It's going, the good thing is, I got, the sim to, take little study breaks and whatnot. And it's been pretty good, because it still requires a lot of focus. So it's almost like helpful to the studying, but it's going. And just in the meantime, trying to get some track time.
I love the way you justify it to yourself. I love it. That's exactly how I would do with my study. Well, best of luck when the exam comes. Now, before we let you go, is there anyone you'd like to give a shout out to live on GSRC?
Sure. Just a big thanks to GSRC and the whole crew for putting these together. Thanks to the POC. Also, mad props to the guys that raced at Sonoma this weekend and managed to get in the sim today. I can't imagine that. And thanks to Team Salehi Racing, our family racing team.
Excellent. Thanks so much for coming to join us in the commentary box, Bayan, and hopefully we'll see you in a couple of weeks' time at VIR.
Thanks.
And now we will bring in Alan Stad, bringing it
Yo,
up
yo.
for positions. Hey, yo. Bring it
How
up
you
into a
doing?
podium position, man. Now, if I recall correctly, your bio says that you drag raced, and with just how well you had to keep these tires under you in the rear with the hills and the slickness, did any of that drag racing, any of that straight line where it's level all the way across help you out at a hilly Road America tonight?
Well, if there's any track that's going to do it, it's definitely going to be Road America with the 3 sections where you're just hitting some pretty insane top speeds. And, metal, pedal to the metal. So 100%.
So VIR coming up in 2 weeks here. First of all, what do you expect going on over there? And then also, who do you got to thank for this podium position here tonight?
Who do I got to thank? Man, so many people. I don't even know where to start. Let me thank POC. Definitely, Matt puts a great organization here, both on the sim and the live side. They just got back from Sonoma, so I'm sure a lot of them were pretty tired racing after 3 days of from going from real racing to sim racing. And want to give a shout out to Gregory Leafouge for helping me out this week with Road America. I'm actually going to Road America next month. Can't wait for that. And one last shout out to my real racing team, BR Racing, which helped me bring in 3 first place, a clean sweep at Utah for the Pirelli Trophy West Series, which was awesome. Just got back from that last weekend.
Well, hey, congratulations on that, and congratulations hopping on the podium here tonight.
Woo! Thank you so much, guys. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Alan Stab brings it home. Top 3 here in the GT4s. Well, Peter, I think off of that energy that we got there on that last interview, I do want to ask you, the energy here tonight, obviously these guys are in a sprint, but again, you think we're going to see that the second half, I guess the rest of the 4 races this year, are we going to see that same energy here?
I have no doubt about it. We've got a great paddock full of some great characters and some brilliant racing as well. Can't wait to see it. And I have to say, we're heading to VIR in 2 weeks. Paul Newman said that if there's a heaven on earth, it's VIR. I think Belinda Carlisle said that as well, and Peter Mackay says it too. I can't wait to go get out there to VIR. It's a beautiful circuit with some Porsches. Oh, the dream.
Well, that will be fun here in 2 Mondays from now. And of course, we got to give a shout out to our GSRC hard charger tonight, Connor Bloom, moving up from 8th overall to 2nd place here on the night, your GSRC hard charger. Well, as we go away, we do want to give a shout out to our sponsor, Sunset Mortgage, Octavio Tequila, Century Financial Consultants, and of course, the organizer, the Porsche Owners Club. And if you are interested in advertising with GSRC, our channel's 1 million monthly global impressions are a great way to get your brand seen by a diverse audience. It can be anything from hard charger awards to even just breaks and just your logo up on the screen, because we want to see it. Be sure to follow the link in the description below on YouTube to learn more, or globalsimracing.com/advertising. And of course, a big thank you to the great companies that provide the software and the hardware for our broadcast listed right here on your screen. And an additional thanks to Jude Lalonde, who provides our wonderful music. See the screen for how to get a hold of more of her great work. And of course, a great thanks to the team today, Peter and producer Joe Peak. And if you would like to find out more about GSRC, including upcoming races, you can find that at globalsimracingchannel.com, or check out our social media on Twitter at GSR Channel, on Facebook at Global Sim Racing Channel, and Instagram at GSRC_Graham. And if you would like to support the channel, go check out our merchandise store at gsrc.storenvy.com. The link is in the description below. And don't forget to head on over to our YouTube page. Hit that big red subscribe button so you never miss a moment here on the Global Sim Racing Channel, or any of the great races like the Camel GT that you see right here on your screen. The next race for the Porsche Owners Club Sim Racing League, August 10th, 2 Mondays at Virginia International Raceway. Every other Monday we have racing here for these guys on GSRC. And of course, all those other races that you see right here, the Sunday Grand Prix Series coming on up from Nuremberg, that'll be a fun one as well. But until next time, race clean, race hard, and we will see you at the track.